waiting on you.
You are now watching Soca Vibes Sports Podcast.
Ready to get it done. She got the wine down to the yard far. So cock it up and put your head by your knee. Never.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Soca Vibes and Sports. I'm your host, Mello, and I'm here with my usual co-host, JP to my left, and to my bottom, Starboy. Fellas, man, what's going on?
Nothing too much, and it seemed like the sports world is going crazy right now due to the fact that we got the NFL draft going, then we got fights going, we got NBA playing / playoffs going. It's just a whole lot of buzz around the sports world right now. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? How's the week been treating y'all?
I mean, I must say, bro, this month, I must say April. I'm shocked that we're about to be in May come next week. This year just already going at a rapid pace. I'm just like, shit. We definitely got to slow it down. But so far, so good, man. It could be worse, but I'm just fortunate.
Right. And also, we want to apologize for not coming to you guys around that busy week last week. It was Easter, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure a lot of people was in church. A lot of people were, moving and grooving, eating deviled eggs, you know what I'm saying, in the restroom, whatever the case might be.
Right.
But we here now, and what is this, episode
15? 15. 1-5.
Okay, we got a
Like
Patrick Mahomes.
Yep, that 1-5.
We got a Vince Carter episode.
Oh,
Hello.
The throwback. Shout out to Vincenity, baby.
Linsanity, Vince Sanity, all the sanities, man.
Yeah.
What about you, Jay? What's going on?
It's been a stressful week, really. Stressful week, taking it day by day. The only thing you can do. Feel me?
Okay, well, to start off with the topics, we got Sanders' draft position. You know what I'm saying? This is damn near live in effect. Happened maybe about 30, 40 minutes ago. You know what I'm saying? We got Sanders falling deep down in the draft. And I'm curious, Starboy, to know, what do you think about this?
Listen, this is ridiculous. Like, you did this, and they did this in terms to get back at Dion, which didn't make any sense. You look at the team that drafted him. Yeah, like, I wouldn't say shout out to the Cleveland Browns for drafting him, but it's kind of like a disappointment, only because you made him wait to the 5th round when you had a 2nd round pick that you traded back for a 5th round pick in the 1st round. And then you ended up taking a D lineman. Like, Cleveland defense was never bad. It was your offense. Like, you got Deshaun Watson that's coming back off an Achilles injury. Nobody's ever the same right after an Achilles injury, especially Deshaun Watson is a mobile quarterback. Joe Flacco was on the couch a couple of years ago, and he got picked up from the couch. So he's like 38, 39 years old. Damn. The other quarterback that he up there. The other quarterback that they had is they had got Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett started in Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh let Kenny Pickett go. He was a backup last year with the Eagles. Yeah, he won a Super Bowl, but he was a backup. And then you have a rookie that you took before Shedeur Sanders, which I forgot his name, but like, he was nowhere better than Shedeur at all. Like, his college tape wasn't better.
No.
And then you take Shedeur. It's like, bro, like, what? He better than all these QBs. The only QB would be competing with is your starting QB, and he's coming off an Achilles injury. And the team, literally said that you, like, basically making an investment to Deshaun Watson was like a bad idea. So just how I see it, like, him having to wait all the way to the 5th round is ridiculous. If you look at most college analysts or ones that cover football, like, he was either on some boards he was the 5th rated player. On some boards he was on number 1. I know Mel Kiper's board he was number 1. On some other players, like, he never, like, the highest he went was 20. Like, he never went anything under 20. So for him to be drafted all the way in the 5th round, because we heard some hype. Like, I don't get it. Like, they haven't played college football in a while. It goes from between him and Cam Ward, like, like, is neck and neck. Either him or Cam Ward is going to be the first pick. Then it goes down to, okay, we find out Cam Ward is solidified going to be the first pick. Then we find out Shador is going to slide to number 3. Okay. Then we heard Shador is going to slide down all the way to number 8 or 9, where the Saints were. The Saints pick. Then he slides down. Oh, the Steelers going to pick him at 21. Then it's like the Steelers 21. And it's like with these organizations, it's like, what do you see? What moves the needle in the NFL? Quarterbacks. It doesn't matter how great your roster is. If you don't have somebody competent back there throwing the ball or that can control the offense, you're not going anywhere. Look at Washington. How long has Washington been looking for a quarterback? As long as the Commanders been looking for a quarterback? Yes. They get Jaden Daniels NFC Championship game. Like, it's the quarterback. The other position, the skill positions, they are good. But if you don't have a competent quarterback back there, you're not going anywhere. So I just look at all these other teams, like the Saints. Derek Carr's not even playing this year because he has a shoulder injury. So, like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, why did you not draft a QB in the first round if your quarterback is not even playing?
Right. I definitely feel like there was a lot of disrespect on this situation. It almost gives that feel like we're in the playground, right? And I'm going to do the any, mini, money, mo, or he looks good, or this person looks good. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to take that individual rather than going strictly based off the numbers and the talent that you put on tape. So I definitely feel like it was disrespect. If I was a GM or, you know, somebody drafting, I would say, hey, okay, yes, he has a lot of moxie. Yes, he has a lot of confidence, but I don't even really understand what is it about Dion that made them feel like they had to, you know, play with his son like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe everybody should stand on their own merit. So it's just weird how, you know, he dropped that far. I saw him dropping maybe in the later teens of the first round or even 20, because they were making mention that he had like a hitch in his throwing motion. But that shouldn't put you at the 5th round, damn near. You know what I'm saying? That's something he could dispute stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? Because they playing with his money too.
Exactly.
You're playing off your money.
Yeah, the guaranteed money.
Now, I mean, what's crazy about this thing was, like, you know, 2 episodes or about an episode ago, I made a hot take. I said, hey, I don't think Shadir will be a top 5 pick. However, I do see him falling down somewhere in the 20s. So I thought that, you know, one of the teams that I mentioned, which he got drafted to, I thought that they would have came back into the first round and drafted Shador, right? When I saw Shador didn't go first round, I didn't panic. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I guess, you know, they probably have their own issue. I thought he probably would have been like a day 2 pick. When day 2 came around, you had all these different names came by. You know, the quarterback that was selected before him, Jackson Dart, he was selected. I'm like, all right, cool. I guess, you know, Jackson Dart is somewhat of a competition to Shador, whatever. But when I saw Dylan Gabriel, Jalen Murray, and Tyler Saw got drafted before Shador, I was like, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Right.
These 3 gentlemen that got drafted before him is better than Shador.
They're trying to size that boy. They were trying to size that boy for real.
Bro, they did. Like, yo, like what makes me laugh is that how can you say Shador's draft comparison is Daniel Jones? Like how could you say that? You're gonna mess up? You said that days before the draft happened. Of course, you're gonna mess up his stock. Pat Shermer, like, of course you're gonna mess up his stock. And then somebody says Ryan Dayball, and that's why he's gonna lose his job this year, which I'm happy. That's why he said Jackson Dart have comparisons of Josh Allen. Like, what?
They're not even the same stature.
Like,
if you
exactly, like, how you gonna compare him to Josh Allen? Josh Allen's a generational talent. Like,
granted too, Josh Allen is about every bit of 6'4", 6'5".
Yes,
Jackson Dart is like 6'2", 6'3". You know, so they're not even the same in stature. One guy, like, granted, they both are mobile quarterbacks, but there's no comparison. There's no comparison in that.
Bro, they compared that man to Josh Allen, bro.
Then it's also, too, I want to make a note, man. Those teams, I'm talking about the team that really needed a quarterback, you guys should be ashamed of yourself.
Shame.
Ashamed. Pittsburgh, you should be ashamed. Why are you waiting on a 40-year-old to decide whether or not you want to select a quarterback? And to make matters worse, you guys still ended up selecting a quarterback in Will Howard out of Ohio State. Make that make sense for me. The Saints, you picked up a guy that had 3 season-ending injuries in college. His throwing mechanics is terrible. Dude is not a franchise guy, at that quarterback position for you guys.
He's a smart quarterback, but
Right.
he's not the smart quarterback for that organization.
Who did the select? I forgot his name.
Tyler Shaw.
Isn't he like 24, 25?
25, about to be 26 in the fall.
He has a short shelf life. So yeah, the same everybody I feel like some calls were being made. And granted, I do understand Shador Sanders, his personality isn't for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Flashy and all this stuff like that. But my thing is, if production and putting asses in them seats are up, you got to take that guy. Especially if you know he's not going to change your organization right then and there. The least you could do is put asses in the seats. So I don't know, man. That was a weird one to me, and it just let me know that this is a good boys league. You know what I'm saying? Just like how they did what's his name, Kaepernick. You know what I'm saying, by holding him out of the league, even though they know he was a quarterback that can consistently get stuff done. You know what I'm saying? Just because he took a strong stance on something, now he can't get a job.
Bro, Kaepernick younger than Joe Flacco.
You feel me? And then check this out. I ain't gonna lie, Joe Flacco is still putting together a solid career, even in his old age. You know what I'm saying? It's like he got resurrected from the grave. But come on now, we holding good jobs from people. And this is my last take on this. Mike Tomlin, your job is on the line this year. Now, granted, I don't like to call out for minority jobs, but his job should be on the line this year. Like, you know what I'm saying? Especially if y'all in talks with this guy, you know what I'm saying? Y'all passed up on him, 2-3 times? Like, come on now, bro.
Bro, listen. If there's a bunch of coaches, if Mike Tomlin loses his job this year,
everybody.
I'm not the person that call for minority jobs, but come on, make it make sense.
Even we could throw Mike McDaniels in the ring too.
Listen.
We could throw him in the ring too. Right now they playing he's a part of the good boy club. You know what I'm saying? Sure. But him and the general managers, I need to see a lot of hiring and firing next year. I better see that turnover rate real high in the NFL.
Black Monday.
Exactly, bro.
So the transition, we got Pulp Talk. Now this one kind of confused me, and the reason it confused me is because it almost seemed like y'all rolled the man out to the edge of the balcony, right? To then say your final farewells to everybody, you know what I'm saying, just for him to go and die. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know this guy is suffering from I guess was pneumonia or bronchitis or something like that. Right. My thing too is why are we getting these popes that only have like a year or two shelf life? Now, granted, I'm not Catholic or anything, but it's just I'm curious to know what qualifies you to be a pope.
This is a very sensitive topic, but I definitely don't mind talking about it. So I don't know, especially in that Catholicism, religion. I just guess that they have to. I don't know. It's like a ritual. I'm gonna put it like that. There's like a ritual that they have to follow, and there's certain things they can and cannot do. And I guess they have to serve as being a man, a man for the people.
A man of faith, I'm assuming, but still, you gotta wait your whole life to then become a pope, and then
I guess because of what when you take the definition of pope and everything for example, someone has to deem someone as the pope. You can't just call yourself the pope. So someone has to be deeming that. And I guess, the Roman Catholic Church, and it has to be for example, they want somebody with great wisdom and great knowledge. And of course, they say older people, because they've been through life, pretty much longer than us, and they know more than, a kid. If you just take a normal kid and you take somebody that's been through life, just in that generic term. But just like you say, their shelf life is not that long. you wait until they get to a certain age. Like you don't see a young pope. Like you wait
Mm-mm.
till somebody that gets like in their 70s or 80s, where they start to have, their body starts deteriorating faster, and then you deem them the pope, and then a couple years later, oh, we need a new pope. So it's just the way they do it over there.
And what I didn't like about the situation, and this is something from outside looking in, I noticed when he passed away, I'm gonna say in the African culture,
Hmm.
I guess they were trying to, pay, try and pay their respects to him. And you notice that there was a lot of division where like I guess the non-colored, did not appreciate that. And they felt like, you know, they, they didn't deserve to pay their respects to the Pope. So I also noticed that too. I noticed that there was a bit of a division going on, but
Okay.
I rest my case on that.
Right. And yeah, I don't know, man. I gotta educate myself on that one a little bit more because I want to know the actual requirements. And did y'all see at his funeral? Like it was like I don't want to call them like clan member suits, but like everybody was dressed in like
The
this is
rule,
Hmm.
yeah,
yeah. I was like I don't know what's going on here. I can't put my hand on that one,
but
but I will come back with more Pope knowledge, Soko fam. I promise y'all. So the transition, how do you feel about your partner staying at home?
let me take a jab at this. I want to go at this first.
Right, right.
So I'm a firm believer in this. Like, when you're in a relationship, everyone has to contribute in some type of way. Me personally, as a married man, okay, I would not mind my partner staying home as long as she take care what needs to be taken care of inside a household. You get what I mean? Like, I want to come home and I want to be at peace. I don't want to come home where like I gotta do this now, I gotta do that, I gotta do this, gotta do that. You feel me? I want to be sure, like, the things that I'm doing, I'm the thing while I'm at work, you taking
Hmm.
care of all
Hmm.
the basic needs. Yeah, there you go, that word. The
Hmm.
basic needs that I need to be taken care of at the crib. All right. And I just felt like, and if they fail to do that, then you might as well work a 9 to 5 just like me, respectfully, of course.
Hmm.
Okay, I understand that. Now, this all spurred out of nowhere. This is a conversation I was having with a friend, and my friend said she feels as if white men are more willing to have like a wife that stays at home, and
Hmm.
she said like African American men rather do the 50-50 thing. And you know how those conversations go, man. I'm kind
Mhm.
of tapped out on the whole 50-50 conversation and like all that other stuff. But I'll say this. I feel like everybody just has to contribute in some
Yeah.
way, somehow, as long as you being valued, in however you contributing,
Hmm.
by all means, whatever works for you. But if you are a woman actively seeking, to be a stay at home,
Hmm.
what exactly do you bring to the table to then make your man feel comfortable with you staying at home? You know,
Mm.
and I asked my friend. I said, "Would you be okay with your man being a stay at home?" You know what I'm saying?
Right. So, you kind of hit the rules, hit the
Yeah, yeah,
reverse.
yeah. You
Yeah.
gotta reverse Uno that thing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And she said, "Yeah." You know what I'm saying? But
For how long? For how long? Come on now.
I called cap on it, but
When
it
there's
was
more tolerance, because I feel like for us guys, we will have more tolerance if our lady were to stay home as opposed for us men staying home. I feel like after a while, our lady's gonna be like, "Oh my God, you don't do nothing. You don't do this. You don't do that." And I feel like that's where the tolerance, is gonna come down to the tolerance level.
right. Like me personally, I don't believe in gender roles. Like I think women can do everything that men can do. Like if you feel like you want to jump on that lawnmower and cut the grass, by all means.
Hmm.
If you feel like you want to take out the trash, by all means. I feel like I want to take out the trash. I feel like I want to wash the dishes, by all means. Like like everybody, as long as everybody contributing, doing a part,
Hmm.
Right.
we
Exactly.
good. Because I done seen a lot of women cut grass, and you'd be surprised.
But
But
it's so what works for you. Like you gotta understand, like it's
exactly,
basically what works for you. Like if you don't want a woman that doesn't stay at home or vice versa, then okay. And then if you do, then it's dependent on what works for you. Because like when you think about it or when you look at situations, like if you just be like if people just be realistic with themselves, you have to know who you talking to, who you dating, or who you married to, like, or even if you just living with somebody, like, you have to notice. First of all, if you get a girl pregnant, right, and you guys are in a relationship while the baby's getting ready to born, she has to start staying home at a certain point in time that because she can't work anymore. Of course, call it maternity leave. When a baby's born, she has to stay home for a certain amount of time with the baby. So it's just like being partner staying at home like 50-50. Yeah, that's great and fine, but like even if you have your partner staying home, like just like Mello said, it is 50-50 because in terms of if she's staying at home, like when you get home you want to make sure that you're at peace. You don't have to get home, the dishes is full, you got to wash the dishes, the trash been there all day and now it's stinking up the house, you got to take it out. Like I'm not saying that a woman has to take out the trash, not saying that she does, but I'm just saying, like, for example, like if she's staying home, then either she can help with some things. Like I believe in a certain thing too. If your woman is at home and you guys have a kid together, she shouldn't have to do everything all the time. In terms of, like, for example, you know you shouldn't all the time you get home off of work expect a cooked meal because she's dealing with the child and keep maintaining the house. Like it's not easy. you know Us men, like, it's different for like kids. Like men are the fun, like most of the time men are the fun parent. Like we don't really discipline kids. Like it's just like kids know, like, for example, if a kid has a dad that's in their life, they know when dad means business, he means business. But pretty much of the time you chill, easy going. Only time dad would get serious is when dad's serious, like, okay, I'm not playing anymore. But other than that, women has to do the nurturing in more aspects, which is why kids feel, more closer to their moms in some aspect. But at the same time, it's just like with the mother staying at home, or even if the dad stay at home, I feel like women wouldn't really more. I'm not saying they wouldn't accept. Only some women would. Like only some women want to be a nurturer. Like in terms of like nurture their man. Like you see how some women don't mind them being the breadwinner and their man just working a regular job. Some girls are like that. Not a lot of girls are like that. Like you'll find some girls that do that, but not a lot of girls are doing that. But at least today.
I just feel like as long as the energy can be reciprocated, what I'm saying, on both sides, what I'm saying, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna leave that one where it's at. You know what I'm saying? Should we forgive the Heat?
When you say
This is directly to Starboy. Let me tell you why. We having backstage conversation. My boy Starboy said he used to be a loyal, dedicated Heat fan, a Heat lifer, if you'd like to say. But the problem with this statement is he's no longer a Heat fan.
Nope.
So you can't call yourself a Heat lifer, in my personal opinion, because you wasn't there shooting with me in the gym.
I was there.
In the lows, you didn't shed the same tears that I shed. Now would you a Golden State fan?
I'm a Laker fan, Goat James, man.
Laker fan. So he's following LeBron, which I have no problem.
Goat James.
But let me tell you how the Heat organization works. Once we lock you out and we throw away the key, there's no coming back. You can when we start the dynasty up again, it's no jumping on the wagon.
Dynasty.
I'm telling you, when we start right now things look dark. Right now, I'm a hurt Heat fan. Trust me. But check this out. We got whispers of John Morant. We got whispers of Kevin Durant.
Nope.
We got all these whispers, right? Somebody's coming to Miami. Somebody's coming to South Beach.
Nobody's coming.
We always land the big name guy, and I see you over there raising your eyebrows, but you still there in Brooklyn. This conversation is not even about you. You stay over there in the locker room. Y'all in Cabo right now. So this is to Mr. Jordan, Mr. Lakers fan, LeBron lover. You know,
James.
listen. At the end of the day, when LeBron retires, who is next? Who is next? Are you staying with the Lakers or
Luka? Luka.
Oh, God. Luka hookah?
Luka, man.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Listen,
But yes.
I
So
remember go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I just want to say this, man. I remember the year 2016 when Dwayne Wade decided to become a free agent and test the market. And when he actually left Miami and to go to Chicago, low-key, I was hurt. I ain't gonna lie to you, I was hurt.
Why was you hurt?
Why was I hurt? D-Wade was the first South Florida player that I've watched growing up. You feel me? He was the first, like you can say, Miami star I watched growing up. I like, holy shit. You know, I had his shoes. We used to call him Flash. Remember that back in the days?
I remember.
It was good. Just, you know, when he left, I was hurt. Then next, you know, I realized there's a difference between putting emotion and business. Okay. You know, at that time, you know, being a teenager that I was, you know, I was very emotional. Like I didn't cry, but I was hurt. I'm like, damn.
Hello, stop
like how do you let your best player go?
Stop it. Stop it.
Then stop it. Then after a while, I was like, yo, this nigga probably he's a fucking genius. Like, yo, he's like, man, I'm not gonna pay you. Like at that time, Wade Needs wasn't the same no more. So I'm like, you see, I understand why you know you didn't pay him that money.
So how did you end up in Brooklyn? How did I end up in Brooklyn? How did you go to Brooklyn? How you get to Brooklyn?
How did I get to Brooklyn? This is how I got to Brooklyn. When the Nets was in New Jersey and they moved to Brooklyn back in 2012, I was ecstatic because you know I was born in Brooklyn. I was like, shit, you know, we finally have a major team in Brooklyn now. And from there, you know, I liked the direction, even though that we kind of paid the price for it, but I liked the direction we was heading in, even though that we went through a lot of trials and errors. But you know, what kind of solidified it was when we got KD and Kyrie. That's what I have to say. When we got KD and Kyrie, I was like, yes. You know, the Nets are, you know, the team of the future, but unfortunately, things didn't plan out as they were supposed to. So it is what it is.
Where y'all boys tripped me out. You said went through, right?
Yeah.
Still going through that. Going through that.
He's still going through it too.
And then you got the delusional guy down here who's traveling his way around America.
Yeah.
Teams to support.
Yep.
This is craziness to me.
No, it's not.
So if I was to sum it up, if we should we forgive the Heat? I say yes. I say yes.
Because I want your reasoning.
Because we've made things right with D Wade. Yes, I believe that there was some stubbornness. We should have paid the man and we should have made sure that he was taken care of. And I believe that he should have been stakeholder in the Miami organization. But guess what? We also came to agreement that we know D Wade is about his money. And the whole forgiveness process, it started with him. I personally think, you know, they snuck a bag to him under the table. Hey, D Wade, we love you. Here's a couple mil, you know what I'm saying, for your troubles. You know, I'm sorry about that, you know. But that's why I think we should forgive the Heat.
Huh? I guess.
Not me.
I mean, do you forgive them for the Jimmy Butler situation too?
Listen, I think for one, Jimmy got to go. Jimmy had to go. I was the first one to speak on this channel and advocate his absence. Now, look at him right now. We would have had to hurt Jimmy right now.
No.
Yes, he's hurt, right? He's
not hurt because Amen Thompson did something dirty. That's all.
Yeah.
Check this out. Check this out. We are playing a very physical Cleveland team. Jimmy was
no, they got more physical than the Houston Rockets.
Well, put like this, Jimmy would have probably provided more offense with this current Miami Heat team than anything. You guys definitely was not going to score only 87 points tonight. I promise you that. I promise you that. You got.
I don't think it'll be a winning effort though.
Huh?
I don't think it would have been in a winning effort. Them boys are deep. They are deep.
Bro,
I'm waiting.
Why not on their jackstrap, bro? I just felt like, you know, Cleveland they got the numbers, you know, just like you said. Well, they're quote unquote deep, bro. If they meet like a New York or like a Boston, I feel like it's going to be a different outcome.
Ty
Yes, yes,
Jerome,
yeah.
Ty Jerome,
Huh?
Ty
Bro,
Jerome,
why y'all wear his backstrap, bro? The nigga's overrated.
bro.
He was on
Okay,
Golden State.
okay.
Bro, right? Like,
He
come
was on
on.
Golden
If he
State.
was
He
good, he
wasn't
would have
right
been
now
with
on
the
Golden
Warriors.
State.
How about this? When they see you think New York is making it out the next round?
For sure. They're beating Detroit. I promise you that. They're
Right.
going to beat Detroit. They're
Okay,
going to
so
beat Detroit.
who do they play in? Who do they play in the following round?
Boston. It's going to be Boston. And I like the Knicks in 7. I hate Boston. So I'm going to be honest with you. This is me being biased.
Boston.
This is me being
Nobody,
biased.
nobody hate Boston more than me, but I said Boston more than me. But I'll be the first to say I don't know. I like Jalen Brunson. I'd rather Knicks to go on, but the end of the road is gonna come for them.
Yeah, of
But I ain't
course.
gonna lie though, like Tibbs has to change his ways though. Like playing them niggas over like 40 minutes, 40 plus minutes. I'm talking about all 5 of their starters playing
That's
like 40 plus.
Tibbs. He's not gonna change his ways.
Like shit, nah. I know for a fact these guys be gassed. Nigga, I've
Nah,
been
that's
gassed
Tibbs.
too. I'm like, yo, give me like 3 minutes.
That's Tibbs. He gonna do what Tibbs do.
Understood. Well, I got y'all stance on that. Y'all know where I stand. Nepotism between athletes. Now, with this one right here, I think this is a real thing. This should be studied. And we were just speaking on the Sanders draft position thing. And this is what I think. If you have a name, right? No matter whether it's football, basketball, soccer, if you have a name, right, and you have a son or a daughter following up behind you, they're gonna make it hard on you. But I think a lot of times they try to close the door on some of these athletes who seem to be a little bit rambunctious or have like large personalities, so individuals that kind of speak their mind. They try to silence you. And anybody that's coming in the draft, I say you get your money first. You play the humble role, even if you are cocky, whatever the case might be. You play the humble role, get your bag, and let's get to the league, and then we start popping our shit.
Hell yeah.
Because this is getting bad, man. Where we just seen a guy go in the 4th or 5th round for no reason with Bronny James, right? Yes, nepotism played a factor in that, but he's no scrub. And now we're seeing he's no scrub. I knew he wasn't a scrub. I thought he should have had a year under his belt. But we can even go as far as the Griffies, King Griffey Jr. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these guys have to pave their own way, but when it comes to the big wigs and the people that control the dollars, it's almost like they want to kind of put you on pause or put you on at mute in a sense. So that's just my perspective on that. What do you feel, Starboy?
So I got a lot of things about this. It's basically the R word. It's racism. It's nepotism and racism. That's pretty much what's going on between athletes. Because Soka fam, if you take a picture and you look at, let's say, if JP, we could pop up a picture of these 3 white guys. I'm gonna say their name. Number 1 is Baker Mayfield. Let's take Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield was the number 1 overall pick that went to the Cleveland Browns. He got drafted, I believe, in 2018. So you look at Baker Mayfield. First and foremost, Baker Mayfield was planting flags at the end of games in the middle of the field.
I remember
Baker
that.
Mayfield was dancing on the sidelines, or he was doing things where he was mocking the other team on the sidelines. Wouldn't you call that arrogant? Wouldn't you not call that arrogant where him doing certain things, agonizing other teams, agonizing other players? You wouldn't call that arrogant. But because it's Baker Mayfield, yes, he had an amazing college career. Not taking anything away from his college career. But you cannot do one thing for the other and do something else for somebody else. You can't do that. Let's take the second person. Johnny Manziel. Everybody knows about Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel was partying he was getting money and he was partying he was getting NIL before NIL. Partying.
I love me some Johnny. I love me some Johnny.
And he was partying while he was in school. This is like, there's documentation. But guess what? Everybody swept that under the rug. Everybody swept his personality, his arrogance, all that. They swept that under the rug. Oh, it's Johnny Manziel. It's just Johnny football. Everybody loved him. And let's take this last person. Joe Burrow. Oh, I can't stand Joe Burrow. Um, what does the media call Joe Burrow? Oh, Joe Cool, Joe Shiesty. We love Joe Burrow's arrogance. We love his confidence. So when it's Shador, it's arrogance. It's oh he doesn't. We can't handle this type of Shador Santa. Yeah, that watch. Yeah, when it's Shador, you can't. It's a problem in your locker room. We can't control this behavior. There's something wrong with this behavior. But then when it's those three guys, oh everything is fine. We cannot do that. Like this man has not been in trouble with the law. There's nothing that he's did off the field. He was a model student. First and foremost, he went to HBCU. Okay, he put up numbers at Jackson State. What was the knock on him? Oh, he's at Jackson State. He's doing that at HBCU. He can't do that to a Power Five school. He goes to a Power Five school, and him and his whole family changed Colorado around. Okay, they went from 0 wins or 1 win the first year before they got there to 4 wins to 9 wins of them almost making the playoffs. And then if you look at Shador's numbers, out of all the quarterbacks in college football, when he was not being pressured, he completed 80% of his passes out of all the quarterbacks in college football. So my biggest thing with the whole nepotism situation and with everything, you take teams where that needed a quarterback and you guys not decided not to draft him. Hey, Cleveland, you could have had Travis Hunter and Shador Sanders on your roster. Like, make it make sense. Like I don't understand teams like Pittsburgh. You're gonna wait on a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers that has what 1 year left or 2 years left in him, or is gonna play 1 year and then say, I may want to retire. I don't know. You waiting on that? Cleveland, you waiting on a situation where your quarterback he's dropped off a cliff since Houston, not the same player. You waiting on that? New Orleans, how's that situation going on for you? You could have you picked up I believe they picked up Ashton Jency. No, that was the Raiders.
The Raiders did, yeah.
The Raiders picked up Ashton Jency. But hey, the Raiders, you could have had Ashton Jency and Shador Sanders.
Right.
You decided not to draft him. Like, you don't have a good quarterback situation. Even though, I believe Geno went to the Raiders, Geno Smith. But Geno Smith has been a journeyman. Like, he's not been a great quarterback. It's like none of these quarterbacks that you have, if they're not Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, like if they're not that type of upper echelon quarterback, then you need to draft somebody. Like, I don't get even with, just like you said, JP, early on with the hitches in his throwing motion, I have not seen anybody so far this year study a quarterback so much. Jackson Dart is not better than Shador Sanders, but he get drafted to the Giants, and the Giants, this is why you are where you are. This is exactly why you are where you are. Yeah, you think he looked like Josh Allen. All right, he think he played like Josh Allen. You're going to end up with another Daniel Jones. End up with another Daniel Jones.
He was bad.
Yeah, no, you're going to end up with another Daniel Jones, and then you're going to be wondering why you picking up in the top 10 again. Like, it doesn't make any sense, like he was put in a good situation. And just like you said, the difference between Shador and Bronny, Shador, like, even though Bronny had, he went to college, but Shador put in the time. He was good. Like, it's not like people had him on their draft board as, like, for example, Shiloh and Shador. Everybody knew that Shiloh wasn't going in the top 3 rounds. Everybody knew that Shiloh was not going in there. But Shador, everybody was confident that he was going to go in the first round. So he had a good fall. He was one at a time. He was in the Heisman conversation.
Yeah.
He was in the Heisman conversation. Then you go to the 5th round with the 144 pick. I'm glad he got drafted, but come on now. Like, the man did nothing wrong. You hating on him because his dad keeping it real. Hey, we're not going to no bad organization. An organization that is willing not to pick the players or not willing to get people around. Think about this. Just think about this, and I'm gonna toss it off to you guys. You take someone like Justin Fields. When Justin Fields was in Chicago, they were not trying to give him no help, no receivers, no nothing. They're not trying to assist him at all. Caleb Williams come there and they get everybody for him. They draft everybody for him. So you look at that situation. Hey, I'm not gonna want my son to go to a team where there's no support or where there's no O-line. I'm glad he didn't go to the Giants. I'm glad he didn't go there. That's why the Giants gonna be the Giants. And guess what? The last 5 quarterbacks the Giants picked are what color? Oh wait,
Blunt,
exactly.
blunt.
And how all them turned out since Eli.
Well, shit, how all them planned out after Eli? Shit, Jones was terrible.
Mhm. All of them was terrible.
Uh, terrible. But I want to say this though, man. You know, the difference between the NBA, I'm gonna use the NBA and the NFL real quick, right? The difference between the NBA and the NFL, the NBA is more of a players league as
Mhm.
opposed to the NFL. The NFL is more of a bush league. You know what I mean? So it's like there, you know, it's really hard to have a say in the NFL or has to try to take a stance without offending the owners, you know, or I say the personnel at that. I just felt like, come on, man, you gotta call spade a spade, man. Like, you know,
Mhm.
are you guys looking at talent or are you guys looking at character? Because if you're looking at talent, hey, Shador, he has the talent. But if you look at character too, I promise you, I'll say majority of, I'll say half of the players, they don't have, you know, good attitude or good character, but yet, you know, you guys say shit. We could, you know, we definitely hide your character with your skill set, so we're gonna let
Tyreek.
the talent outweigh, you know, outweigh your character.
Mhm.
Mhm. Like you said, I agree with you, Mello. Like Tyreek, I could give you another one. Back in the draft a couple years ago, we selected a guy named Laramie Tunsil, right? He
Mhm.
got caught smoking weed or whatever. They considered that a character thing, whatever, at that time. Then he fell tremendously in the draft, but never that low because his skill set was second to none. And
Right.
this was the second best quarterback in the NFL draft.
Mhm.
So I just don't get it, man. I just don't get it. So the transition, this is one that I've been locked in on, right?
Mhm.
And the
Go
reason
ahead.
I've been locked in on this one right here, as far as Uncle Shay dealing with legal battles, right?
Mhm.
I feel like Shay, yes, he was out of his range for messing around with this girl,
Mhm.
but at the same time, nobody was checking for him on this
Mhm.
type of matter until he got that $100 million
Contract.
contract.
Yep.
Mhm.
Then Cat Williams made mention a year or two ago when he dropped that podcast when he said, "Hey, once you start making money and now that you know you got me on this platform, they're gonna come for you."
Mhm.
That's what he said. And when he said they, nobody really took heed to who they
They,
was that he was
Mhm.
referring to.
mm,
Mhm.
Now they can come in the forms of like the industry. They can come in the forms of like
Mhm.
the government. They can come in forms of so many different things. But in this case, it happened to be a
ooh.
19-year-old woman, right?
Mhm.
Now I don't know if I want to really leave this on the screen. You know what I'm saying, for our kid viewers. But yeah, so it's just one of those things where he got caught up in this scandal, and she's
Mhm.
asking for as much as $50 million, right?
Mhm.
Half of damn.
Half of what he's worked hard for, as
Mhm.
far as building a brand and an entity, and
Mhm.
he's willing to fight this, you know what I'm saying, and take this to court or whatever.
Mhm.
And I think he has a strong case, but at the same time, I feel like why put yourself in this situation?
Well, I'll
Mhm.
be honest with you, man. Uncle Shay, man, he's a freak, man. He's a freak. I know he's a good person. He's a good person, but yo, man, that
Freaky guy, freaky.
remember that Instagram video? Remember that Instagram live video he did a year ago?
I feel like
No.
all of that even was put out in a sense to kind of like change his perception because a lot of people were coming after him because they thought he might have been homosexual, right?
Mhm.
Oh,
And right after all of that had sprouted up, you know what I'm saying? Then this video comes out with him, and Michelle.
yeah,
Mhm.
Michelle.
Yeah, that's my Michelle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And everybody just laughed it off, ha 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 ha, ha. But then now this is some serious stuff, man. But the
Mhm.
same woman who's suing him, right? She's going through a lawyer. I can't recall his name at the moment, but he also goes after other bigwigs like the likes of Jay-Z and people
Mhm.
like that.
Mhm.
Oh,
So that's what makes this so serious because he's known to try to take
Mhm.
American men down.
Wow.
Mhm.
I mean,
So
this is an unfortunate situation, man. And what's crazy is when Cat Williams warned him, it looked like he really didn't take it seriously. And no one would it. You get what I mean? It's like, sometimes when someone trying to warn you or something, and the other person be like, "Bro, what are you talking about?" I just think that for him, it was just one of those moments, like,
Mhm.
"What are you talking about?" Like,
you
you know who I am. Then when it actually happened, he's like, "Oh shit, this is what Cat Williams was trying to warn me of."
right? You can't foresee nothing like this.
Mhm.
Right.
And what makes it crazy is it's some of the things that he was saying. And yes, he made mention that the video was edited to make him sound bad, but he said something like if you say that one more time, I'm gonna choke you.
Mhm.
But like, in innocent conversation or whatever, or just having conversation, like, you know, when you intimate with somebody, you might tell them you might choke them too. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Everybody got their own,
Right.
kinks, things that they into.
Yeah.
So I don't think like him, like, because they're gonna try to use that as a threat. I don't think he has any probable like cause to like even like what is he? Why would he go out his way to go choke a 19-year-old girl?
He played himself. He played himself, man. I'm disappointed in him. He played himself. He played himself. You gotta understand. You gotta understand the position you in. First of all, your podcast, as far as in Club Shay Shay and Nightcap, are going through the roof. Like, as far as in basically, I'm not trying to like make fun of Shannon Sharp or anything, but basically, like, everybody goes to his podcast now. Like, every celebrity feels comfortable after the whole Cat Williams things. He started getting more and more guests, more and more big time guests. Everybody feels like, okay, Cat Williams got those numbers. We can do those numbers. Let's go on there. Let's go on there. Now, if you see everybody on his pod, like whether for comedians, they try to say something outlandish so they could get the clickbait and the views.
Right.
If you just look at that, okay, you doing something with ESPN. You left Fox. You got fired from Fox. You go to ESPN. Stephen A. literally recruits for you to go to Fox. I mean, go to ESPN. You get the deal with ESPN for 2 days. You there on Mondays and Tuesdays. Okay, ESPN is getting ready to sign you for a new deal, and you get this thing where you with the volume, and they're about to sign you for a new deal because he also, if nobody knows this, but he also has a company called Shay Shay Media, and he has other people under his media company like Club
Yeah.
520. Um, what's his name? What's his
Ultra.
name? Who's on Club 520? What's his name again? Jeff Teague, his podcast is
Okay.
under Shay Shay Media. So now Sherelle, Chad Ochocinco's ex fiance. Her podcast is under Shay Shay Media, and you have a couple of other people on. I think Bubba Dub, his podcast is under Shay Shay Media. You have all these people and all these entities podcast that's under your media company. So you're doing great so far after football. You never imagined this. You're doing excellent. And you don't go decide to mess with a 19, 20-year-old Instagram model or OnlyFans or whatever she is, bro.
So he had the world. He got the world at his hand.
Bro, you could go get Nia Long. Go do something like, bro, Angela, go get somebody like in that age, bro.
Ultra be trying to put him on.
Bro,
He be sounding like
exactly, bro.
good Ocho. I'm good Ocho.
Like, come on, bro. Like, you got all these other celebrities like that you could go to, like, because now you can get them. Like, when you were playing football, because the difference between football and basketball, it's hard for a football player to become popular in the game because majority of the time you see the helmet, so you don't really see their face.
Right.
So now that he's out of football, and you know how women are, when just like you said, JP, you had the situation where people think he was homosexual, right? You had the Michelle tape came out. Now he's getting all of these women throwing themselves at him. Bro, go for these celebrity women. Go for the ones that are single. Go with them. Go Angela Bassett. Go somebody. I don't know.
I don't think he wants to be tied down.
I'm not saying be tied down, but I'm just saying go Erica Badu. Do something.
Oh, Mr. Eric, if I do, I'm weak.
Go do something, bro.
Erica Badu. I seen what Erica could do to a man.
No, listen. Go do something. I don't know because my thing is this: any woman that's under that's in a lesser position than a man as far as in terms of like when it comes to like exploiting them. Of course she was gonna exploit him. Once you heard them they trying to re-sign him for 100 million, of course you had to know you was gonna get exploited. Of course you had to know that
My
because
thing,
she wants some of that money.
my thing is, as a African American man, right? You are 50 something years old. You done seen this story a couple times. Now,
Jonathan made
my question is, bruh, why go so young? Now,
Mhm.
granted, and she's legal,
Hey,
but
good.
it just makes you look even worse. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like you could have had, like you said, you could have had somebody in that age
Mhm.
range, but instead he went super young. Like y'all really got nothing to talk about.
But it's not even about the young thing. It's about, because he's black. That's all. Bill
Yeah.
Belichick girlfriend is 20-something years old. Bill Belichick in his 70s.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
His
yeah.
girlfriend 20-something years old. Nobody ain't saying nothing about that.
Right.
Nobody ain't saying
Yeah,
nothing about
nobody said nothing about that.
nobody said nothing about him and his 20 years. Is that's why it's being black. Like you gotta, you're black, and Bill Belichick is what? He's in the background. You're not really
70s, yeah, he's in the 70s.
you
Damn,
not
old enough to be his like granddaughter.
exactly like you not even
Starboy said something right there on the head.
listen, you're not even gonna, you don't really hear from Bill Belichick. Shannon, you at the front of every situation, every topic he talks about. So you can't be dating a girl that's, I'm not saying he can't do it, but you got to understand the position you in.
Hmm.
They're gonna what for us black men, they're gonna put us in a bind. Things that other races could get away with, we can't get away with.
That's
So
real.
the fact of the matter is you sleeping with this 19, 20-year-old girl, white girl, and you sit there and you're doing what you're doing, but you see other people, ex NFL players, ex NFL coaches, you see what they're doing. Nobody's saying nothing. When Hugh Hefner had the Playboy Mansion and he was doing what he was doing, nobody said nothing, not one word. But when it comes to a black man that's in power, he's gaining more and more power.
Mhm.
You're gonna try to tear him down. You're gonna try
Yep.
to tear him down before you get, because we're not gonna let you get where you want to get to. We're gonna let you steadily get there, see yourself getting there, and then try to take it all away. Because at the end of the day, if he loses this deal and he loses ESPN, he's done. Done.
Mhm.
I mean,
And
he's
I'm,
a separate entity, but it's not the same.
Exactly. It's not gonna be the same.
He could be on the verge of possibly billionaire status if he
Hmm.
keeps it up. But man, shoot, shoot. So next one, NBA play-in tournament.
Hmm.
How
ooh,
we
it's been pretty interesting, I would say. I'm gonna go to your Miami Heat. When you guys made it what 10th seed, I was like, okay, you guys gonna beat Chicago. You get what I mean? Like, I don't know, for some reason, you guys own Chicago. For some reason, when it comes to that playing tournament, you guys give Chicago
Hmm.
BTA, BTA, BTA.
Hmm.
Then it's when you guys play the Hawks. That was a pretty competitive matchup. You
we
guys
give
should
them
have,
BTA too.
huh?
We give them BTA too.
Oh yeah. Oh
Hmm.
They
well,
knocked us out a couple times.
Hmm.
you did. But I was kind of scared in that fourth quarter, man, leading into overtime. I was like, then out of nowhere, when you guys just took over, I was like, shit, I was wrong. But I kind of like that format, though. Not gonna lie to you, like it really make it competitive. Really, really make it more enjoyable to watch.
You
It's
know what?
more. Go ahead.
It gives the Cinderella feel, like you can have a team come from the dirt and
Hmm.
someone win it all,
Yeah.
and just based off of like continuity and things of that sort.
Hmm.
So I like that too.
I hate the playing tournament.
You
I
hate the
hate it.
play?
It's ridiculous. My problem with the play-in tournament, my biggest problem is not about, some games are competitive. My problem is the way that they do it. And what I mean by this is like, for example, you take the Western Conference standings, right? The Kings were the ninth seed, right? There were 8 games away from the 8 seed, which was the Grizzlies. So that's 8 losses. The Grizzlies lost 34 games and they lost 42. And you tell me they had a chance to be the 8 seed? The Grizzly was only 4 games away from the Rockets. Like the Rockets were the 2 seed. So the 8 seed is closer to the 2 seed than the 2 seed than the 8 seed being closer to the 9 seed. Like make it ridiculous. Like if if the games are if a team is 1 or 2 games back behind, I understand. Do the play-in. But if a team is 8 games behind another team, they don't deserve to be in the play-in. Why are they in the play? What are we rewarding at this point? Are we rewarding just losing? Like, I'm sorry that the Kings lost, um De'Aaron Fox, but what are we rewarding at this point? Are we rewarding losing? That what we're doing? We just rewarding losing. Like the teams that made it to like, okay, think about it. I don't know what seed the Heat were this year. They were the 8th seed. And right now they're down 3-0 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's what a first round match is supposed to look like between number 1 seed and a number 8 seed. That's what it's supposed to look like. Like when you think about it, the Hawks, what was the Hawks? The same thing, no matter what team made it. Had the Bulls made it or the Hawks been the 8 seed instead of the Miami Heat, it still was going to be 3-0. Nothing was going to be different. They still was going to be down 3-0. So I just don't see the purpose of even the Bulls. You look at them, they 3 games behind the Hawks. I mean, they 3 games behind the Heat. Why? Like, why were they in the playoffs? Like, I just don't understand. Like, you're doing a play-in, which causes more, the NBA wants more revenue. Of course, that's what is everything's for revenue. You want more revenue, but then at the end of the day, the playing's not even in the Heat playing. Why would you kick Trae Young out the game? Like, why would Trae Young get kicked out if this is like for the season? Like, this is their season. Even though I did BTA, did what you had to do. But at the end of the day, I just don't understand the playing sometimes only because of the way they do it. Like the West playing, when it came to, you should do the playing between the 7th, 8th, the 6th, the 5th, because they were all 1 or 2 games behind each other. But when it came to the East, there was there'd be no playing. Even if, just like you said, the JP, it's a Cinderella story. When the Heat wasn't a play-in and they got all the way to the NBA Finals. But you didn't win the finals. We don't award losing. Like this is what I'm saying. This is what I don't get. When one man, and we know who that one man is, when one man makes it to the finals and lose, everybody makes fun of him. But when other teams make it to the finals, when they're not supposed to be there, are we cheering them on? Are we cheering them on? Oh, they made it to the finals. Make it to the and losing is not a reward. There's no reward. They don't hang no banner for said made it to the finals.
You're right. It's not a reward, but guess what?
Mm-hmm.
It's the continuity aspect, and it's the ticket sales that are happening because they have more games on TV. So this is NBA, but also is helping us because we get more basketball to watch. And on top of us getting more basketball to watch, when you do have that Cinderella team that comes from the dirt, it makes it even more special. Whether it's a letdown or it's an upset, whatever the case might be, like you still experience something that you haven't seen before. So I think it's just another way to keep the NBA fresh and keep viewership high. You feel me? So I think that's the reason why me and Mello probably would say or fall in the lines of we liking the play-in tournament. Because
no, I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying, like, if the teams are not close in games, then there should be no reason. Like, you're telling me, like, think about this. At a certain point in time, Phoenix had the chance of making the play-in tournament. They haven't been good all year. The Suns have not been good all year, and they had a chance of making a play-in tournament.
That's why they didn't.
I know that's why they didn't, but you got to think about it. KD was injured towards the last 2 weeks of the season. Had he not been injured, they probably would have been the 10th seed.
It's really down to bring your best basketball. Okay, if you are a bummy team, you're bummy in a show. You know what I'm saying? If you have bigger aspirations and you happen to be the better team on that night, maybe that other team shouldn't have even been in the playoffs. So it's a way to fight your way to the top. Best man win. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be a game or two. You know what I'm saying? Some teams can have a hot shooting night, whatever the case. But clearly, the team that loses is not supposed to be.
No, you can't say that. Because if a team have a great shooting night, if a team shoots like 50% from the three and they shoot like 70% from the field that night, it's their night. You have some, like, just like when you watch basketball, you have some times where a bottom feeding team ends beating a team like Boston by double digits. You like how did they win? You have some nights where the team has a hot shooting night. It's basketball, a regular basket. It's not football. Football is one game. bring your best play to one game. Basketball is a 7-game series. So you're expecting players to be ready on one night when another team may have a great shooting night. You can't look, no matter if you play great defense, if better offense is played, you're not winning.
But
So
you're the same guy that watched March Madness last week or
yeah,
last week.
you're right. You're right.
So
But March Madness is different. It's college. This is a college aspect.
what makes it so different though?
Okay, the difference between March Madness and the NBA is, first of all, March Madness go based off of seeding. Okay, if a team, if no, it goes off of seeding. Like they of course all the teams make it in, and then you get, they play a certain team, of course. But the difference is this is NBA level competition. First of all, if a team has been bad all year, we don't expect that team to make it. But these are NBA level talent. So at the end of the NBA level talent is NBA level talent. Take some of the NBA players and put them in college and see what's going to happen. On the worst team, see what's going to happen. These are NBA level talent. So no matter what, if it's a bad team, this is NBA level talent. You're saying on one night when your format, March Madness, everybody knows what March Madness is going to be. It's the mecca of NCAA. But you take a playing tournament which just been established a couple of years ago, which is not something the players been in. Basketball players never been a one game decides all. They've never been doing that. They're getting them something that they're not used to. Yes, it's more basketball. I love more basketball, but this is the format they're not used to. They're not used to one game, and then I'm the 8th seed, and then one game I gotta play. If I'm the 8th seed, if I lose that one game, then I gotta play the 10th seed, or I gotta play the 9th seed.
This is where disagreement comes in. You said this is something they're not used to. Majority of these athletes have come from the college style of basketball, so they know what it is and what it ain't. If you see your heart that night,
the NBA format is not the different. You telling me, okay, for example, if you've been in the league for 10, 15 years, the playing tournament didn't come in until a couple years ago. So your format, if you're making a playoff, is a 7-game series. That's what you know, a 7-game series. NBA playoffs, yes, you came from the college, of course, but now we got to think about it. All players are not coming from college anymore. Every player is not coming from college anymore the way it used to be. Some players are going 1 year college and then go straight to the NBA. Some of them overseas. You look at the Thompson brothers, they come from overtime. Everybody's not going to college anymore. So I'm just saying, if NBA players are not used to the play-in tournament and their format is 7 games and you're just making a team go, yeah, one game decides all, then I don't see the benefit of it. Like, I don't see a garbage team just making the finals and end up losing.
but check this out.
Mhm.
So a lot of these guys, I'm gonna pass it to you, Mello, but a lot of these guys that you're speaking on who come from other programs rather than that college route, they have just as much experience, if not more, due to the fact that when you play overseas, you're playing grown men. And grown men go to work, they got to bring their hard hat and they got to bring their lunchbox.
Of course.
Okay? So that's just my stance on it. Mello, what are your thoughts on that?
I just want to say this. No matter what sport you play, always remember that the game will continue to evolve. You get what I mean? Keep in mind, like, if we never have the play-in tournament, obviously things will still be the same. But I remember at one point in time, back in the days, I'm gonna go from the 90s to the early part of the 2000s, where like in the first round of the playoff, it wasn't best out of 7, it was best out of 5. So from there, as time went on, they kind of make changes. Yeah, make changes towards the game. So I just felt like no matter what, there will always be some type of change taking place.
Of course.
And for me, just seeing the playing tournament, even though like at first I didn't understand the concept behind it, but as time goes on, I really kind of like the competitive nature behind it. I'm just like, hey, especially in that last 4 seeding, the 7, 8, 9, and 10, talking about, hey, who's gonna make the final? Who's gonna make the final 2 spots in the seeding? So for me, that's why I like it. And from there, it does give that competitive edge for those last 4 teams to pretty much fight for those final 2 spots.
No, I agree. But what I'm saying is this. Okay, Mello, you said in 1990s it was best out of 5, right?
Right. In that first round.
First round series. Okay, you're right. But look, let's take 4 players. They take Steph, let's take LeBron, let's take James Harden, and let's take Kevin Durant. All players that were drafted in the 2000s.
Right.
What do they know the format of being in the playoffs? 7-game series. That's what they know of.
Right.
You bring your best out of four. You win the four, you done. It's over. What I'm saying is, yeah, young players, rookies, and all those couple year players in their early years, they know about the plan because they watched it. But if you're talking to somebody that's been in the NBA for 10, 15 years, they just had to get used to the playing tournament. All I'm saying is one team could have a great shooting night. That doesn't mean they're the better team because they had a great shooting night.
Right.
If you're the 10 seed and you win one game against the ninth seed, you still have to play the 8 seed. Like the season is like the game is not over. All I'm saying is rewarding losing is not the best way. Yes, play games. That's why I said if they're close in seeding, if the 10 seed is one game away from the 8 seed, play that game. I'm
But
all for it.
that's what really happens a lot of times. Like a lot of times they're just game or two away.
Yeah,
So
but look at this year. There
The
were
East
no
is weak.
games away.
All right. I'll be honest. The East is weak compared to the West. Look at the West.
compared
From
to
that second all the way to that 10th seed, everybody was within.
No, no, no. No. From the second to seventh, well, from the second to eighth
Yeah.
was neck and neck. The ninth seed had 8 more losses than the 8th seed. All I'm saying is, if you're gonna do playing, how can you tell me the second seed is 4 games away from the second seed is 4 games behind the 8th seed, but yet the 8th seed is 9 games above the 8th seed is 9 games above the ninth seed, but you want the ninth seed to play the play-in? How? Like they're not close to seeding.
because the ninth seed is not playing the first. They're playing the A seed, so they got to battle it out just to even make it into the tournament.
Of
So
course.
pretty much it's like the cream will always rise to the top. If your team is like that, it will be shown. And if that team doesn't perform, like it's really big boys pants, you know, whoever wins this night, and that's what gives it that feel. Because it's like, okay, we're still not out of the doghouse just because we're 7-8. We're still not free. You know what I'm saying? So we got to put together our best brand of basketball. So we're not even in that position to be the 7th or 8th. You feel me? So I say cream rise to the top, let the chips fall where they may, and you know, throw the ball up, blow the whistle. It is what it is. So do you like who your team drafted? And before y'all say who y'all team is, first say who y'all team is, and just kind of give like a brief synopsis on who might be a player that you like that your team drafted.
My name is Carmel Francois, New York Jets.
And your message.
Yeah, just a quick intro. I really like the fact that we addressed it a hole in our O line. I felt like the guy that we drafted in the first round in round the 7th pick, I believe, the 7th pick, Armand Membu out of Mizzou. I felt like he's a solidified right tackle for us. And, you know, he could recomplete our line. You know, our line is pretty young, which I like. And, you know, this is the first time in a long time where I could say that I have a good O-line. I have a good O-line heading into the season.
You think you have a good O-line?
I know I have a good O-line.
Okay, well, when the season start, Melo, you know, it's gonna be me talking a lot of trash to you, because when I start seeing people coming around that edge, Jalen Phillips and you know, Shot Robinson and them guys, I'm gonna ask you. So how about that O line, man? Last year, no, was it the year that Aaron Rodgers got hurt? I gave you a break because I just felt bad. I gave him a grace period. I felt bad. I was like, damn, that boy was hyped before the season started, man. He was hyped. I was like, because I was watching, because I was a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous. I was like, they look like they building up a squad over there. Then Aaron Rodgers got hurt, and I was like, I didn't even, if you notice, bro, I didn't even call you for real. Like we talked, but I didn't even I was like, yo, I gotta let him grieve. So when he called me, that was just like, yeah, bro, that's kind of messed up. But in all actuality, the Jets are gonna do what the Jets are gonna do. So yeah, I mean, for me, I'm actually happy with the Dolphins because they finally decided to have some level of competency because they be in the war room in the draft room sleep, man. You have like we could have got what's his name? Uh Justin Jefferson a couple years back, right?
Mhm.
Right.
How do you let that type of talent go by? How do you let that type of talent go by? You
Mm,
know what I'm saying?
you're right.
A
You
lot of
know
teams let that talent go by.
you said what?
A lot of teams let that talent go by.
Come on, man. Like you
The Eagles, like what's crazy was the Eagles was a pick away. They end up choosing Jalen Rager, and the Vikings said, "Shit."
Exactly. Because I believe that was a draft that CD and Jerry Judy were in too,
Yeah,
and they took
Jerry
them.
I feel like
Maybe.
Jerry
Jerry
Judy was a top, like he was a, I think he was a first round, like a top pick.
Yeah, top pick.
Jerry Judy was in the league a little longer than that, bro.
No, let me
Uh-huh.
see. I believe they drafted the same year.
Yeah, because some tell me he's
Yeah,
just a little
2021. That's what's it. He probably got drafted the same year as Mac Jones. I could be wrong.
nah, I feel like I don't know. I
Mhm.
may be wrong, you know what I'm saying, but we're gonna have our statistician, Mr. Starboy, check for us,
Yeah,
man.
Justin Jefferson got drafted in 2020.
And Jerry Judy,
Okay,
what?
Jerry Judy.
2021.
No, 2020.
Oh
The same
shit!
year.
What
I'm saying
class?
him, CD, them, they all went the
Okay.
same year. That's why I knew
Damn,
they all went the same year.
Jerry Judy, man, I thought he was in the league for maybe it's because I've been watching him so long,
Mhm.
but
No, they all
yeah.
went the same year.
So yeah, with the Dolphins, we finally decide to address our needs rather than going after the flash. Even though I thought like at one point I was like we might could use Shadur now, we might could use Shadur, but we end up getting our guy Kenneth Grant, big boy, about 312 pounds, 6'3", hog up the middle. You know what I'm saying? To clog up the lanes because we lost Calais Campbell. You know, and I was very sad about that because Calais is one of those guys who was a leader in the locker room. He always made sure, you know what I'm saying, to put his
Hmm.
best effort, you know what I'm saying, on the field. And he was up there in age, but with that motor and him playing limited snaps, I think he'll be a great addition to any team. So I commend the Saint not I was about to say St. Louis Cardinals, my goodness.
Baseball, thinking baseball, Papa.
Too much baseball. But
That's
yeah,
all.
and the Arizona Cardinals for getting their guy back because that's where he was originally drafted over like damn near 20 years ago. So that's my thoughts. And this guy, he's a workhorse. He doesn't give up after the play. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna keep on coming, and he pretty much doesn't get pushed around down low. He has good leverage and things of that sort. So that's just my take on it. I love the draft. I like who we got in the second round. We went and got somebody to protect Tua who can play inside and outside on the offensive line.
Hmm.
So I'm actually excited about that. What about you, man? How you feel about them 49ers in the draft room, man?
Hey, listen, man. I'm a 49ers fan. We got some troubles right now. Well, we got a lot of troubles right now. A lot of holes that we needed to be addressed. I feel like we are going in the right direction somewhat as far as because our defense is getting weaker because you lost Greenlaw. I believe Hufunga's gone. You still have Fred Warner, but Fred Warner's aging. You still have Nick Bosa, but like I said, most of our team is in the aging aspect. Like, so I believe that we needed to get younger on defense. So I'm glad that we took Michael Williams or Michael Williams. I'm glad we took him, but at the same time, what I really wanted us was to go offense. But what's his name that went to the Carolina, which was a great pick by the Carolina Panthers. I wanted us to get Tedero or McMillan, the wide receiver, but we couldn't because we were pick 11th and they already had took him out at 8. So it's just like, I'm happy that we're going in the right direction, but we need offensive players since we lost a couple of offensive players and that our offense is aging. We
Okay.
need to get somebody on our own. Hmm?
Who did y'all draft again? What position does he play?
Michael Williams. He's a defensive lineman.
Okay.
From Ole Miss, right? Ole Miss.
Yes.
Ole Miss.
the
Okay.
defensive lineman. So it's like I'm happy, but it's like at the same time, we need because Trent Williams getting older. He's getting like we need an O lineman too to protect Brock Purdy. So it's just like I'm happy, but it's just like I don't think we had like the best draft, like the best draft.
Well, Hassan, I'm gonna commend you guys though, but you guys were definitely was building through the trenches in the draft this year.
Mhm.
I've seen some marquee names. I'm like, oh shit, you guys pick up this guy, that guy. So I feel like you guys are definitely building in the trenches now. You guys picked up a nice linebacker from Oklahoma State. Like,
Mhm.
I
like,
see.
yeah, dude is
Bro,
solid, bro.
I
Solid
get
as
you,
a
but it's
rock.
like we need a running back.
Huh?
We
I
don't have
know. I really thought that you guys were going to go after what's his name, Dylan Simpson, or one of those available running
I
backs
don't
that
know.
was in the
Listen, we
draft.
need a running back. You just literally got rid of those two running backs that we had. So it's like I say, yes, defense is great, but if you don't have nothing on offense, like our quarterback is not a Mahomes, he's not a game changer. So he needs the best offensive talent around him to make the team go, and we don't have that right now. And the draft is over. So who else you're gonna get? You're gonna have to pick up free agents, and there's not many great running backs out there on the free agent market.
Nick Chubb is there. I'm just saying, Nick Chubb is still in the market. Just
I don't,
saying.
he's good, but I don't know how he's gonna be after that injury.
Right.
I mean, I saw him when he came back. It was like he was getting a couple yards per carry, but it's not that same.
Exactly. It was not that same Nick Chubb
Yeah.
where he was when he was going through that hole, he was gone. It's not that same person.
That man leg come out of place on that play.
Mm.
Exactly.
That thing came out of place. I was like, oh, when I was watching it, I was, oh,
Hmm.
oh, one eye was shut. When I was like, oh my goodness, they should have said viewers discretion.
Is
Wow,
advised.
Definitely.
that was
So,
rough.
but Hassan, I want to ask you boys this question, man. What's one guy in the draft that you felt is a gem that you guys felt like, oh shit, this guy was on the board, and you guys ended up selecting him.
For me, it'd probably be we didn't select them, but
Hmm.
the Jets selected him. Is Mimbo. I was watching Mimbo, and I just knew the Dolphins was in the runnings for him because we
Mm.
need offensive line security. But when we didn't get him, I wasn't too upset, but I was just like, damn it. You know what I'm saying? Between the Patriots and the Jets, I feel like our division definitely got stronger.
Hmm.
But I just hate to see like good players go to like the rival team. Like I wasn't even worried about what the Buffalo Bills was doing because when they got the corner, the fast little corner,
Yeah,
Hmm.
okay, that's cute, you know. But but I don't know. It's just I see what the Jets are doing.
Hmm.
They're trying. I like the Jets coach, so I kind of get where their ideology lies. You know what I'm
right.
saying? And he already knows he has a solid defense, but he's trying to shore up that offense for the likes of Fields. And Fields don't have to be running around like a chicken with his head cut off. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So
Hmm.
I like that move because I know when I was thinking about it, and I knew y'all got Fields. Fields is not going to process the field as fast as you would like him to, but if
Mhm.
he have a little bit of time, he's going to be able to do something. You know what
Absolutely.
Hmm.
I'm saying? And to have that on the side, just protecting your blind side, or even what side is he playing on, left or right?
Oh, right tackle.
Hmm.
So just to have that security is going to take him a long way, and you're going to be able to see them pick up more first downs rather than you seeing y'all offense just stalling out. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that's going to definitely help because the more time that's bought for you and Fields,
Hmm.
Fields might not be y'all long term quarterback, but he's going to be able to at least win y'all some games, and that was a power move on y'all end. So what about you, Starboy?
I'm not even gonna go my team. I wanted us to draft him, but we didn't get him. He went up too early. Will Campbell.
Mm,
Listen,
mm.
listen. When I was watching the draft, and I could see like the pain in his eyes in terms of like him crying, like in terms of like you know He's happy he got his moment, like the hard work he's put in. When that boy said, when they asked him, "What are you gonna do for the Patriots?" He said, "I'm gonna die." I
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
"Woo."
I didn't like that. I didn't like that because I said, damn it.
Yeah, I
And
know.
our
Mello, listen, Mello, JP, good luck. Good luck, because when that
hey,
boy said, "I'm gonna die to protect Mac," when I'm gonna die to protect the quarterback that they have, and I
Drake
believe
May.
it's Drake May, I said, "Oh yeah, they got him. They got one."
I got one. I didn't
Oh,
like when he said that because I was like, oh gosh.
I
I was
feel
like, go. Here we go. I can see. I'm picturing Jalen Phillips trying to come off the edge.
Man, he's a pancake.
And yeah, and then Drake May escaping out the pocket or something. I don't need that.
because that he was already he's strong because he was like benching six something. I'm not benching, but he was squatting like six something.
Oh, I'm about to say, shit.
He was squatting six something in college, but it's like the reason why I like him is because the Patriots already had their defense was getting better. Like it's been getting better. It's I would say it's solid right now. So the fact that they added him on their O line, oh yeah, that boy from the wreak havoc.
You finna show out. I hope not though, because
You don't know he gonna show up and show out.
yeah,
I'm going to give an honorable mention to the Baltimore Ravens real quick. Ravens told two guys that I feel like going to be key contributors to their defense. Malachi Starks, a great ball hawk safety out of Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
and that guy Malik Green.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Malik Green out of Marshall. Whoo, boy, he's definitely going to provide something at the edge for them. So those two guys right there, I feel like going to be key contributors for them this season.
Mm-hmm.
right. Hey, and I'd like to give another shout out to our boy Division. You know what I'm saying? I feel like every week, when we come on this show, that intro does give me life. You know what I'm saying? It gives that real soca feel. You know what I'm saying? So shout out Diverse for that one, man. We haven't got him up in a while, but I'm gonna be checking up on him soon. Also, guys, thank y'all for sticking with us. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe.
And
You
make
know,
sure to tell a friend to tell a friend.
Exactly.
and we just gonna keep it coming. Who knows what next week's news has for us, man? Because
Mhm.
this show this Shay topic, I know it's gonna resurface.
Mhm.
As far as nepotism, we're gonna have to see, him in spring ball. We're gonna have to see him in what they call it, preseason. We're gonna be tuning into the Browns and just seeing.
Mandatory mini camp. And
Mhm.
but
Because
I wonder who's gonna be on Hard Knocks this season. I want the Browns to be on Hard Knocks.
I do too.
I want them to be on Hard Knocks, bro.
Just to see what's going on in the locker room, man.
Hell yeah.
Exactly. Because
Maybe
you know
it's not gonna roll over.
you know
Dylan
what's
Gabriel
crazy? And I don't even mean to interrupt you, and I know we going to get ready to go.
Oh,
What's
he's good.
crazy is that the Browns drafted another QB that's a rookie, but everybody in the team is tweeting congratulations Shador for
Yeah.
getting drafted, but they're not mentioning the rookie that got drafted.
That got drafted ahead of him.
Exactly.
Gabriel. This gonna be I think it's gonna be a great quarterback room. I think it's gonna be a great camp. And what, Jameis Winston in that room too?
He's in
New York
Giants.
Giants.
Okay. That's gonna be a strange quarterback room too,
Mhm.
because you got what's his name?
Russell.
Russell. You got Dot.
Jackson But I think Russell's a starter. I think they already named Russell as a starter.
Mhm.
But after about 3 games of them,
Mhm.
what they really did good is got that defensive end,
Abdul Carter?
Abdul Carter. I'm scared of him.
Huh?
Boy.
I'm the devil's advocate. I don't see the purpose of the Giants getting him though. I'm gonna tell you why I say that. They already have two guys that they really invested in. I'm talking about Brian Burns and that Thibodeau guy. Okay, I didn't see what's the purpose of bringing Abdul. Like,
I'll tell you this, and we'll eventually come to a hole, but you can never ever have enough DNs. You can never. That's one of the premier positions. When he get tired 3 downs or playing a couple of downs, you would just insert another one. You know what I'm saying? That's what made Jets a little scary one year because y'all kept on just putting in new D linemen, and people was coming off that edge, and y'all got a big Trent up the middle.
Yeah.
So, yay, you can never have enough.
That's true.
But all right, Soko fam.
Till next time.
Till next time.